Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Anthony, aka Tufty on the Tube. Came by request, another tactic review. This time I was asked to kind of recreate a tactic for RB Salzburg. Manager of obviously RB Salzburg is Pepijn Lijnders. Pep, also known as Pep, shall I say. Like I say, again, a manager I'm not hugely familiar with. I knew he was obviously assistant manager under Jurgen Klopp. I think he's taken this job. I don't think he's had much managerial experience in terms of kind of standout kind of on his own. I think he had kind of an assistant spell at Porto, again a spell at Liverpool, maybe NEC and kind of back in Holland before coming back as an assistant manager again under Klopp. So like I say, don't know too much about him. Kind of get the impression that he is emulating Klopp's style, that aggressive kind of 4-3-3. I think I saw like an interview he'd done where kind of he was speaking about the Barcelona result where they beat them 4-0, kind of after a 3-0 first leg defeat. I think brought Barcelona back at home. Talked about how he set up, very much a gegenpress. Although how he described it was, it's not a kind of a pressing style where looking to force the opposition back. It was more of a pressing style to make mistakes and steal the ball. I think it was the kind of the phrase he used. So with that in mind, we're going to set up, as you imagine, a 4-3-3 with RB Salzburg. A team, obviously kind of well known in the Austrian Bundesliga, kind of was something like 13-time kind of league winners. I think last year they missed out kind of the rivals, I think, won it last season. But looking to kind of reclaim that kind of title back this season with his tactic. Certainly under Pep, I think they have the coach who can do that with a style, with the young players that they've got coming through. Exciting young squad, known for developing young talent. Like I say, they bring young talent through, play them, sell them on for a profit, and rinse and repeat. So we'll dive in. We'll have a look at the tactic. Again, I must kind of say this is just my version. I don't get to see a great deal of highlights or a great deal of footage. What I do see, or what I get from kind of looking at interviews, obviously that kind of I can find online, I was getting an impression of how they play. Obviously, I looked at kind of other YouTubers and things like that, or I don't know, things I see out and about on YouTube where I can get some information on how RB Salzburg play, kind of like their own YouTube channel and stuff like that. So, like I say, this is my interpretation. I'm not always correct. I know, like I say, I've done a few other tactics of these. A few people have obviously been taken really well, kind of a lot of good feedback. You can see the odd thumbs down on a couple of videos, but I always say, rather than give me a thumbs down, or still give me a thumbs down, but then at least drop it in the comments. Just tell me what you disagree with. What did I get wrong? You know, I have an opinion. Like I say, I'm a grown man. I'm not going to kind of burst into tears, but like I say, I can take a bit of criticism. So just let me know how I get on, what you think, what you would change, how do you see it? Do you see it differently? And I always say, are you a fan? Even I'll be a Salzburg fan. Am I spot on? Am I way off the mark? Or am I anywhere in between? Get in the comments, let me know, and we'll jump right into the tactic. So here we are, as discussed, our 4-3-3 formation. Like I say, there was always going to be a 4-3-3, I think, with Pep working under kind of Jurgen Klopp. And like I say, I mentioned before, I kind of discussed the kind of the Barcelona game, and I think that was kind of certainly his style as well. He spoke about, like I say, this gegenpressing style, the players they had in the squad at the time. Like I say, beat Barcelona 4-0. And like I say, that gegenpress kind of got me thinking, you know, how he kind of like how we spoke about, not necessarily pushing the team back in terms of a press or forcing them back into their own half or keeping them there. It was all about basically getting them to make mistakes and steal the ball, steal possession, and kind of launch basically a counter-attack and punish teams. I think you always said if you could stop Barcelona playing, certainly stop them coming into his own half or to their own half. Keep them in their own half. Stop like some Busquets playing, kind of messy, kind of keep him quiet, and then obviously got every chance of beating them. They did, they beat them 4-0. So that was his philosophy, a 4-3-3, but very kind of almost like very aggressive but controlled. So here we go. We'll go through the kind of the roles. Starting with the sweeper keeper is pretty much as always. Like I say, it's always a modern day keeper now. Good passing. I think Schlager is kind of one of them keepers that decide to come out, kind of support the defence, if you like, and kind of pass balls around and kind of probably slightly more aggressive than someone on support, but I've just kind of gone for that one at the moment. And we move on to wing backs. I think this seems to be kind of like a focal point, and I think it's probably a well-known style of kind of RB Salzburg, is that they have very aggressive wing backs. Now I've gone for complete wing backs on attack. No additional PIs that cross more often, shoot less often, and tackle harder. That comes across from the byline, get further forward, stay wider, and run from position. So we'll start with these two. Like I say, both exactly the same PIs. Now, from what I've seen, kind of RB Salzburg, what I've seen online, the footage I've seen is that you see these are very aggressive, always looking to kind of get up there, get to the byline, get these crosses in. But I've also seen kind of crosses come from deep, coming up here, kind of linking up with kind of maybe your inside forwards on either side, put nice little through balls in there. Certainly sometimes kind of you have Kjaergaard sitting in midfield, which you kind of, I've seen him, was done kind of with Pep's rotation, which I find kind of very surprising in the few games I've seen, quite heavily rotated in certain positions. Certainly Gluck and Kjaergaard, I've even seen Kjaergaard down in left back at one point, but certainly for the wing backs, when they're coming in, you can either obviously overlap, put a cross in for the kind of the forward, in this case Kanate, look to kind of play in the inside forwards, either way, either side, or maybe it's Kjaergaard, maybe if he was a kind of centre midfield on attack, coming into this kind of box area here, and obviously your wing backs looking to play that ball into him as well. So, like I say, from what I've seen, I know the kind of style was always kind of seemed to be very aggressive to the byline, but I have seen quite variations in that way of cutting inside. Certainly, I think in a game against FC20, I finished 3-3, first game I'm thinking of. Like I say, a lot of kind of balls actually play through the middle, and I think I did see kind of Dedic as well, running up this byline, really aggressive. I think he had a shot himself as well as kind of popping a cross in, which I think the striker missed in the end. But yeah, you do see a lot of that, a lot of kind of attack and line play. You can see very aggressive, and having that style of kind of wing back allows you to have kind of move your kind of inverted wingers, if you like, become more inside forward. So they tend to sit a little bit deeper, knowing that obviously that overlap's available, creating that space for the wing back. And like you say, the likes of Bidstrup in this case, or Kjaergaard, should we say, in this case, and kind of Gluck, they can just sit a little bit narrower. Like you say, allow that kind of space of the overlap. And like you say, it's attack the box and kind of obviously wait for them crosses to come in. So that's what we're kind of going for. Like I say, in terms of the wing backs, I did try wing back on attack. I didn't really seem to get the results that I wanted to see based on what I'd seen in kind of highlights and stuff. So I chose a complete wing back, and I think it went out quite well. Van der Bremen, for example, 19 assists for this season. I know he does take corners as well, so that's probably slightly inflated. But Dedic sitting there with 10 assists as well for the season from left back. Really happy with that. Exactly what I wanted to try and achieve and show. And I think that's probably not wide of the mark. Defensive-wise, quite similar. I've just kept a kind of a ball-playing defender on defend in Bidou in this case. No additional PIs, take more risks, hold position. And Blanc, again, just settle defender on defend. Quite simple. Shoot less often, dribble less often, and hold position. Moving up into the midfield. In this case, we've got a ball-winning midfielder. I did toy this around with this as a defensive midfielder on defend. Could easily, I guess, be a deep line playmaker as well. I think Duath has a little bit more creativity. He's got a bit of a passing, a bit of vision about him. But I thought ball-winning midfielder. Like I say, in the Liverpool team, I think this was like Fabinho, as Pep would probably look to kind of emulate. So, again, a great player, great with the ball at his feet, great pivot, quite simply stop those counter-attacks in my eyes, but have the passing range as well to maybe launch counter-attacks. So, opposition coming in, win that ball back, look to release it straight away to the wing-backs, to the midfield, to the inside forwards. So, he still has that kind of passing range, but predominantly I want him there just to stop any counter-attacks, kind of sit in front of the defence, help them out, win that ball back, and release it. Again, like I say, that's probably open interpretation. Let me know you kind of, do it well, kind of you're a fan. To have a little bit more of a kind of a dynamic role in that. He's a little bit more kind of technically gifted. If I've done him an injustice here, but that's the way I kind of see it anyway. So moving further into midfield, these could have easily been two box-to-box midfielders, I think, from what I've seen. Both seem very aggressive. I know I've seen Capaldo in highlights kind of up in this area here as well, supporting the inside forwards and the attack. Bidstrup in this case, I'm not sure where he sits in the whole kind of, like I say, I've seen so much rotation. I'm not sure what kind of Pep's actual starting 11 is, if I'm being quite honest. In this case, I've gone for centre midfielder on attack. So whether that's Kjaergaard sitting here or Gluck sometimes maybe occupying this role. Very aggressive. Again, get into that box, help out with the attack, overload the kind of 18-yard box, cause pressure on the opposition, and hopefully score goals. But that was the plan anyway, and that's the kind of way I see it. The setup how I see, kind of going into midfield. Yeah, like I say, this could have been maybe another box-to-box, someone who kind of up and down, but I think if you haven't Gluck and somewhere like here, or I think even somewhere like Kajargard, they are very aggressive, and I think you're going to see them up here more often than not anyway. So we'll move up the kind of wide men. Box to box again in the midfield. Just offer that a little bit of support, defensive help, support the attack, and also come back in defence. Again, shoot less often on here, close down more, and tackle harder. Again, I don't know if I said the PIs, but this is take more risks, dribble more, shoot less often, close down more, and tackle harder for the centre midfielder on attack. You'll notice I'm picking close down more. Yeah, that's purely down to the aggressive nature of the kind of the front line. Again, I think it's something that Pep spoke about. We kind of Liverpool team. I think I had like Henderson in this midfield, and he always said he knew where to be at exactly the right time, putting pressure on players, the exact right moments, doing the exactly right thing, and that's all you can hope for an aggressive 4-3-3. So, like I say here, box to box, just what it says in the tin, very simple. Shoot less often, close down more, tackle harder. Moving on to the inside forwards, like I say, these pretty much become inside forwards because of our aggressive wing backs. I want them kind of shoot less often. I want them to sit narrower, to allow that overlap as well a little bit better. Close down more and tackle harder. That's the same both sides. Very simple. Being in around this box here, cut inside, creating almost kind of 3-man attack up front. Wing backs kind of come around here. Plenty to aim at. Centre midfielder on attack. Best in this position here as well. Like I say, overload the kind of defence. Score goals. And certainly if that ball's won on a counter-attack, if you can get that kind of work quickly to wing backs or in the inside forwards, you create kind of goal-scoring opportunities. So that's the plan. And that's the way I see kind of Salzburg kind of setting up in order. Arguably the best team in the league. I think they can afford to be aggressive. They can afford to kind of really go at teams. So I certainly don't see them kind of sat back and playing any form of counter-attack or football in a sense, other than high press, win that ball back, counter-attack straight away. So that explains the inside forwards. And up front, quite simply, this could be again a pressing forward, certainly in Canate. Like I say, I'm not sure if he's here. I've not seen his name on the team sheet. I don't know if he's injured, or I think I've seen is it Euro? I think I may have seen. In this case, it's Canate for the save. It's been a slightly older kind of database. Fantastic at obviously what he does. 26 goals he scored this season in this simulation. Just as an advanced forward. Shoot less often, close down more, and tackle harder. Mentality, positive, as always. I think that's fair to say if not attacking. In possession then, I've gone for fairly narrow. Some of the stats I've seen do indicate that there's a lot of passing involved, a lot of accurate passing as well, up the kind of 86% mark. So that says to me like they're quite tight-knit, meaningful passing, not just into space, I don't think, hence why I've got that off. Seems to be to the feet, to a particular player. Not for him to run onto, from what I've seen, but to the feet. So on the back of that, then I've got to play out of defence. I think they are very controlled, very organised. And I've gone for overlap left, overlap right. On one tactic I did try focus play down the left and right, but I just don't think it really matched what I was seeing in real life. So I took it off. And I think you get a bit of variation where the wing backs are used as outlets. And yes, they do sometimes kind of run down that kind of to the byline, getting crosses in, but not predominantly, not all the time. It's not really always focused on the right or left. So I was finding that right kind of balance. And I think I found it with this kind of setup here. Passing directness, and like I say, shorter passing, higher tempo. I think they are that kind of team, again, in that kind of league, with their kind of stature, that they can play shorter, more kind of to the feet passing, like say meaningful passes. Very high tempo. I think they've got the talent, the skill of the players to use that. I think that's pretty much fair to say. Work part in the box. I think, again, with the way the kind of wing backs kind of get out that byline, everything's played into the box. You can see they're not the kind of a team that just shoots, from what I've seen, from anywhere. They do kind of look to kind of work that ball into the box, create good goal scoring opportunities, and try and take advantage of them. So moving down then, I've got run at defence. Again, that just comes from that pure aggressiveness. Certainly in attack. Again, come from the wing backs. Come from likes of Kajargard, kind of Gluck as well. Very, very attacking, purposeful players, and be more expressive. Again, purely just what the talent that they possess, the young, kind of hungry talent. Very technically gifted. Like you say, some of them probably kind of best talent, I think, of youngsters in Europe as well. They're like a wonder kid factory. So that's trying to emulate that. Like I say, I think they're an expressive team, and I think they can afford to be in that league. Like I say, there's not many teams can really outdo them, although they didn't win the league last season. I think it was maybe Sturm Graz, maybe, remember rightly. But yeah, I think they're certainly more than capable. You know, if you look at the kind of previous, I think they won, you know, X amount of titles were kind of before that as well. Kind of fairly dominant in that league. So in transition, we've got counter press and we've got counter. I think that is kind of the Jurgen Klopp way, and I think that's being passed on to kind of Pep Lijnders as well. Yeah, purely aggressive, but very controlled aggression, but with a purpose, like I said before, to steal the ball and launch counter attacks. So at that end, it has to be a counter press and a counter. Like I say, a distributed centre backs I've got as well. Maybe that could be more, maybe distributed full backs. Like I say, I'm not really 100% sure. I'm not seeing much play from the goalkeeper based on how much kind of highlights I've had to see. So yeah, maybe that could have been dispute the full backs with them having the ability to carry the ball a bit further. But like I say, a lack of kind of highlights. I'm a bit of guesswork, to be perfectly honest. But I've gone for like take short kicks. I think they do like to control the ball, work the ball up the pitch. Out of possession then, I've gone for the high press. I think that goes without saying. It's a very aggressive 4-3-3. That's how they play it. But I've only gone for a standard defensive line. And I think because if you are too aggressive, I think with a 4-3-3, what you do, you tend to leave yourself kind of wide open when you're kind of that high up the pitch. Your DM and your defenders are all up here. You're just susceptible for through balls. If you play like a 4-2-3-1, something like that, you get away with a little bit more. With kind of two midfielders sat in front of the defence, you can maybe close down a little bit, create a bit more pressure kind of with the attack midfield as well in the centre. But ultimately, I think with a 4-3-3, it leaves you far too exposed. So I've gone for the standard defensive line, but I have coupled that up with step up more. So I am asking the defenders to kind of press typically higher up the pitch anyway, in a compact in the midfield space. So they are pretty much doing that anyway, but with a standard kind of set position. So that's what I've kind of gone for. There is an argument to say it should be maybe much higher, but you will see kind of, you know, if I show you a couple of highlights, that the midfield are still stepping up. They are still doing that, but hopefully I think to have this one is a little bit more controlled, a little bit more kind of, less kind of aggressive, if you like, in your face. So trigger press again much more often, obviously. Prevent short goalkeeper distribution. The forwards do really seem to put pressure on the defenders again in the back line. Like I say, it's all about making their mistakes, all about stealing that ball, and like I say, creating a counter attack. Get stuck in. So I said before, step up more. So although I've got a standard defensive line here, the defenders are stepping up into that midfield, kind of close that gap, close that space. So that's the initial setup, initial tactic. Let me know what you think. I'll show you kind of a few. We'll go to the data hub as well quickly, and I'll just show you a bit of team performance. So one thing I've kind of noticed in the data that obviously possession gains, we've gone for again winning that in midfield just before the kind of halfway line. I think that's a fair assumption. That's probably come from the ball winning midfield there, hopefully stopping them counter attacks and then launching our own. So hopefully fairly accurate. Possession lost, we're not losing it kind of anywhere in our own half. When it is getting lost, it's kind of high up the pitch. Like you say, fairly balanced, makes sense. Shooting wise, everything you can see is inside in the box, which I think sums up the kind of the tactic well as well, the way they play. Crosses coming in, looking for those kind of inside forwards into the box. The advance forward up ahead. Maybe the attack midfielders around here, box to box. Probably having a few shots, but overall, pretty much what I was looking to achieve. So defensive actions, it was spoke about there, all in the kind of our defensive third where you'd expect them. Again, quite a few high up here as well, just for the halfway line, so that's good as well. Stopping kind of any more majority of them coming into this half. But like I say, when we do, probably susceptible to kind of corners and set pieces. Defensive efficiency, again, we're on the kind of the line of kind of quiet defense and penetrable defense. But like I say, not perfect. I think that style, we are susceptible to through balls. I think I had another one on somewhere where it looked as though, I think it was so 16 of the 44 assists conceded in the last 50 matches have come from through balls. And I think from the highlights I've seen, that's certainly true. They are susceptible to kind of that through ball with that kind of stepping up in the midfield, that slightly high defensive line maybe. It does leave them vulnerable. Certainly if you can play around the press, get a through ball or a kind of a quick striker, I have seen it. But to be honest with you, a lot of the kind of problems seem to come from kind of set pieces. They seem vulnerable from corners. from what I've seen in the highlights as well. Certainly they sometimes get caught out on the flanks, and that game may be down to the kind of Dedic and kind of Van Brandt kind of getting right up there, really aggressive, leaving those kind of wings exposed. Teams exploiting them, and obviously resulting in kind of in goals conceded. But I think that fairly sums it up. Let me know what you think. And you can see I will try and show a couple of highlights of it kind of all set up and see what it looks like in game and the match engine. But I say that's where we're at. Competition-wise, just for out of interest, we did win, obviously, the Bundesliga. We claimed it from Sturm Graz. 55 points. Scored a lot of goals. If I have a little look here. Stages. League table. Scored 65. In fact, I'll show the championship group. Scored 94 in total. Lost only 1. Conceded only 27 as well. So a fairly good kind of defence. Champions League-wise, unfortunately, we didn't qualify out of the group. Quite a tough group, that one. The Europa League actually run us up to Tottenham, got beat 1-0, and we won the cup. So all in all, not a bad season. Champions League again next season, if you continue this on. But yeah, not too bad. So what I'll do is I'll pop back, show a few highlights of the matches, see what it looks like in game, how it plays. So we've seen this highlight. Gluck has the ball on the right here, slightly out wider. Here's a back to Van der Bremt. Nice kind of through ball in there to Capaldo. So you do see quite a lot of this in kind of in the highlights of this kind of midfield play as well. Isn't it all about Dedic getting up to here or Van der Bremt constantly looking for that byline? You can see they do actually play through the middle. I think again that FC20 match finished 3-3. A lot of the play did come from around this area. Kind of balls coming into this kind of just outside the 18-yard box here. Looking for them through balls. But we'll see Dedic here now. Run at the byline. I think you'd probably see him do a lot of that this season. Getting to this point here, getting across here, looking for kind of the striker, in my case, Canard here. This time, managed to kind of defend. See, they're trying to charge the goalkeeper down, great to see. The defender picks up the ball here, Blanc. Again to Dedic. Capaldo, you see Dedic running up this line here. See him making them runs. Looking for that overlap. Capaldo brings it out though. Kajargard. Again, Capaldo's kind of following with him. Box-to-box midfielder. Dedic just cut inside, offering support. Kajargard, Van der Bremt, obviously bad touch. You see the system, very aggressive. Defence is still quite high there, stepping up, putting pressure on. Straight away, trying to attack them players there, win that ball back. Again, Kajargard gets that mistake. That's what I'm talking about. Like I say, it's good to see it kind of in game. Putting the pressure on, creating their mistakes, stealing the ball back. Drives forward. Into Capaldo. Lovely ball to Gluck. Slots it home. Great finish. Great play. And that's what I was trying to emulate. You saw a little bit of everything there. Dedic, obviously, in the kind of missed chance on the left. Van der Bremt being that support on the right. Very high up. Very aggressive. Sturm Graz pull one back there. And again, that probably kind of sums up kind of Salzburg as well. That kind of play, that's kind of goals they've been conceding, I think. As at times they seem a little bit disorganised in defence. Great cross from Van Bremt there. Simic kind of slots it home. Player we were actually linked with, my team Sunderland, but never materialised. Not sure if we went to Cardiff in the end, I think. I don't know if that happened. But again, see that aggressive the wing back, obviously, at Kindo this time. Cross comes in, and another goal. Get that byline, get the crosses in. It's all a bit of everything, like I say. Try to emulate kind of what I've seen through Salzburg. But like I say, if you enjoy the content, if you have an opinion on this tactic, if you think I've got something slightly wrong, if you know them a little bit better than certainly I do, please drop a comment. Let me know what you change, what player roles, what player should be playing where. And I'd love to hear. Don't just chuck a thumbs down on. Give a bit of feedback in. Get a bit of a conversation going. Like I say, that's it from me now. Please get in the comments as well if you want to see me do anything else. I think I've got kind of West Brom coming up next. Another manager kind of tactic for West Brom. And I think my team Sunderland, I think, might be next on the list as well. But get in the comments. Let me know if you're enjoying the content. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you think of this one as well. And that's it from me. Bye for now.